scenes, but it's cool. Okay, in this episode we got some work to do to the body. Now that we got all those pieces off to the powder coater, we got a little bit of time to work on it. Factory 5 clearly tells you, hey, you got some work to do to this body, which would include fitting the gap around the doors, the gap around the trunk, and the gap around the hood, which is sitting over there. Now you might be a little disappointed in what you get from Factory 5 when you see things like this. You really shouldn't be. It's not that hard to knock this down, sand it, use a little bit of body filter to make sure we got a nice smooth surface here. So we're going to do this as well. Now I probably won't show you all the body work because there's lots of really good videos out there, including Project Snake Eyes, episode whatever it was where I fixed the hood. You can see I do body work on that episode. So we're going to attack this as well and get this body straightened out. Then you're probably thinking like, wow, this guy's so smart. He's going to do his own body work. Yeah, I do plan to do that, and I plan to do my own painting. But if you don't, these are very simple things that you can do to save you some money. And you need to do them now because it's going to take a few months to get that body back from the painter. So that's why we got it mounted back on the frame and we're ready to do a little bit of touch-up work, including fitting these gaps. Correction from the last video, I was not able to send these because I need them to mount the body back. So the body is fully mounted in and we're ready to start doing the work to the gaps. And we're going to start here with the wheel wells on the driver's side rear end. You can clearly see that there's a very rough cut. Well, that's because you really should only have about a 1/4 inch here. So we're going to go around, make a mark, just basically use my finger as a guide to show how much I need to cut off. And then we're going to use this air saw and cut that off and round the edges. This is where I'm going to speed it up and you're going to listen to cool music. As you see, I use 1/4 inch fine line to get that exactly 1/4 inch gap that I want right to the edge of the fender. Now some people take a marker in their finger and do it right. You know what? I've got some fine line, so I just used it. So now let's cut it. Now we got the bulk of it. We're going to take some 80 grit and knock it down smooth. Now the last touch, we're going to pull our 1/4 inch tape off and we're going to round the edge. Okay, now we got a nice, clean, fine edge. And you can see where you take a little bit off of some areas, a little bit more off of others. But now we got a nice finished edge, nice and smooth. Probably still have to do a little more touch up after priming just to get it nice and straight. Now let's do it 3 more times in roughly 20 seconds. All right, next you can tell we're going to do the doors by the rough fitting. So it's basically just bolted in place because this thing is so rough cut it won't even fit in the hole. So now we'll do the same thing as we did with the fenders. We'll take our 1/4 inch tape and try to get our gap to match the opening. All right, that procedure is going to have to be repeated a couple times because now you can see we kind of got the door in plane. One quick point here. Slot where they attach the body to the car so you can pull it in and out and get this door more in plane. Same thing, come right here and do it here as well. So you got 2 places the body's mounted to the car because this place right here in the body tends to be a little too far out. So you got to push it in to get it in plane. I've seen this on a lot of Cobras where this part right here is just too far out and they can't get it right. Slot your hole. Another quick tip, perfect guide. It's about a 1/4 inch, probably 3/16. But you can see my bottom of my door is really well. This part from here to here These parts here to here are just a little too wide. Let's shave them off. On and off again. Take all day to do one door. Okay, after that go around, we're getting extremely close. I like how we're level here. Now, you're just gonna have this dip here. I'm sorry. If you're gonna get this right, you're just gonna have that dip. But we're getting nice and even. I don't like this piece right here. So one more time, I do believe we'll have it. At least this side. Now we got the rough shape. We gotta make it nice and smooth with some 80 grit sandpaper. We'll do the edges and then we'll round them. That'll help blend it in a lot more. Okay, I really like where we are right now. This is a rough cut, it's smoothed in. Prime it, probably see some more stuff we need to do. But at this stage, it's exactly where I want it because it looks good, it fits in the hole, and we're ready to move on to the next door, which I'm not gonna film because you've already seen me do this door. One quick thing, go ahead and smooth this area off where the panels come together. This is where your window comes up and down, right? You think a window goes here, you need to find some other videos to watch. Anyway, we're all good here. We'll hit the trunk next. First thing we're gonna do is get some of these edges cleaned up so we can set it in here. We'll also probably end up mounting this completely, including the weather stripping, so we can make sure we get it just right. A super easy way to get your trunk into position in order to get it kind of where you can figure out the gaps. Crawl under here and bolt that sucker up. With no metal in, makes it super easy. Okay, I was almost thinking about just leaving the hood where I had it fixed, but I'm just concerned that it sits so low in this hole that I don't have the gaps quite where I've already worked the sides twice and it still looks close. So we're gonna go ahead and fully mount it. I've got the hood hinge kit, which is pretty cool. This is a lot better than the old kit. It connects underneath here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put the side mounted gasketing on, or weather stripping on. That way the hood's gonna sit exactly where it's supposed to. The only factor is I don't have the hinge, the latch. The latch is at the powder coater, but that's okay. I'll feel more comfortable that we get this part done so we don't have to do it later on, because this, as you can see, makes a mess. And you really don't want this mess when you're building a car. So this is another good thing about doing it now. Get all this messy stuff out of the way so you're ready to build a car and your garage stays nice and clean. All right, the instructions for the trunk gas struts are in the manual. It's pretty straightforward. It attaches to these holes right here and then up to the bar. So we got a rivet bracket up there. So we're gonna do that real quick and then get this weather stripping on. Okay, with the trunk in place now, and I've got it connected to the hinges, but just barely, you can see that it fits. Just kind of get it in the right place. And you can see my gaps are actually really, really good. I really like where it is. So the last trick I'm going to do is fully tighten this thing down, and I'm going to mark those hinges so when I go to put this back on, it'll be in the right position. What I need you to do is put pressure on this and push it. Let's see that gap right there? It needs to be tight against this paint stick. And then right here so that's smooth. Just kind of lean on it like this. See that? Let's see if you can do that. Pop up there on it. So this will all be solid. You can't get back underneath here. So I do it now. Now I'll mark these. So when we get the car built, it'll be, I need to put it exactly back like that. I'd say that's got it. Great. With Grayson's help, we're able to get it nice and tucked in there. Now, you see it sticking out here. What happens is when you latch it, it should be able to pull it down tighter. And what I like is you can drop it. There might be a little bit of a slight edge down here. When it latches tight, perfect. So I'm glad I did that, because now, like I just told Grayson, I can mark those hinges. And it's almost impossible to get this thing right. It's a lot of work. with the trunk aluminum in. Hood's next. In your kit is some grommets. You get the small ones and you place them around the hood here, and that gets the hood on plane so you can see your gaps better. Then you take your paint sticks, kind of get it in place, get it centered, and now you can tape up the edges and see exactly how much you need to take off. After initial fit, that's pretty much it. Rounded these edges, the hood fits really well. So we're done with all the major body parts now. Now it's time to tackle these seams. I'll show you what those look like when I'm all finished, because it's just body work. That's what I would call phase one complete, which is removing those high buildup parts from where they took it out of the mold, which ends up being a pile on your garage floor. We're in good shape. Next, we'll do some seam sealer and body filler, kind of straighten everything nice and smoothly. And here's the next phase. She's all buttered up, ready for a whole bunch of sanding. You tear it down, you build it back up. Here we go, first coat down, sanded. You can see where I put a guide coat on it. And it clearly guides me where the low spots are. So now it's time to mud it up again, catch all these low spots, and sand it again. My garage is filthy. Sometimes you gotta make time to get stuff done. It's very early, 5 in the morning, and I gotta get another coat of filler on this car so we can get it off and get it on the body buck and start building this thing. Final rough sanding complete. I still got a few low spots, but this is much better than it was. You can see that it's pretty straight. Still where you see the black, that's where I have my guide coat. That tells you you're still low. But we got it to the point now where we're ready to take it off the chassis and start building the car and put it on this body buck I just finished building. Not pretty technical, but real couple of quick things. Save the foam off of when they deliver your car. They put it right there, and also put some wheels on it. Pretty simple. Let's load over, and then that'll call it done for this episode. Get all this body work done so we can start building the chassis. Let's roll. This is stomping of the divots. Doing a great job. Hayden, did you find one? Better way to get a bunch of fancy people out in a field full of horse poop and step on divots. Well, this is a good one. Really dumb.